Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lead Up Lightworker podcast, bringing you fun and soulful interviews with spiritual teachers with the aim of tuning you in and lighting you up. You can access all episodes of the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and TuneIn. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos and interviews all about finding and following your life purpose. My name is George Lizos. I'm a spiritual teacher, intuitive, the author of Be the Guru and the #1 best-selling Lightworkers Gotta Work. And today I have with me Sergio Magaña. Sergio Magaña is the main current voice of the ancient Mexicans and the author of The Toltec Secret and Caves of Power. Chosen to spread the Toltec Prophecy by his teachers, the keepers of the real Toltec, he brings forth Aztec knowledge with a new book at the exact time that it's needed. The Real Toltec Prophecies. In Real Toltec Prophecies, Sergio uncovers the prophecies from the Aztec calendar that reveal important insights about the years 2012, 2021, and 2026. Sergio, welcome to the Lead Up Lightworker podcast.
Thank you very much, George. Such a pleasure to see you again.
I am
now doing a podcast after working in Hay House.
I know, right? So for people watching this right now or listening, so Sergio and I met while I worked for Hay House. And of course, Sergio is a Hay House author. I worked on his titles, The Toltec Secret and Caves of Power, which I both loved. And I'm so excited to be chatting now on a different level about your new book, The Real Toltec Prophecies, talking about the Aztec calendar and the significance of these year that's coming in right now, 2021, and then 2026, and of course 2012, which we all know was a very significant year. But before we dive into the specifics of all that, I just want to give people a background about who you are and what you do and how you got started on your path. So what got you to the point right here, right now, where you teach about the ancient Mexicans, the Toltecs and the Aztecs?
Okay. I think like two things in my life took me here. First of all, that my mother had to work, and so I was really raised by a nanny that she was like from an indigenous group here in Mexico that they are named the Otomis. She was like the daughter of the main healer of the group, so actually she knew all these things. She was supposed to be the next in the lineage after her father, but she had to escape because certain things, and she took care of me. So I saw all these indigenous in other way, but cleansings and smudging and that. For me, it gave a lot of respect because I saw that it was as effective like a child, like the common medicine. So that's a first fact of respect of the ancient knowledge. And then when I grew up and I wanted to be an actor, actually there was like a kind of casting for to be the host of a spiritual show,
Yeah.
and I got it. So I was in the radio like for 15 years, and it was about energy, spirituality. I was interviewing Buddhism, Kabbalah, and many things. And something incredible happened because one of the listeners, my teacher Hugo Nawi, one of the main teachers of the Mexican tradition, he heard it. He heard the radio show and he said, "He's the one that is going to spread my lineage in the world." And what he had been learning in a lineage at least of 1,000 years. So, and then he went. We were sponsoring certain workshops for that show. And he went there. He was interrupting all the class, and then people was angry. And then he came to me because I didn't come to learn anything. I came to teach. After like 2 or 3 times that of the same story, because now you know that in the spirituality there is a lot of people that they think they receive messages and it's not, and
Yeah.
that's so. I trust him, and I said, okay, let's go and have 1 hour. And in that, my first class, he explained the mathematics of the Aztec calendar, how dreams were going to be really important in this stage. Actually, what we're going to talk about, not 2012, 2021. So at the end of that session, I said, yeah, probably he came to teach me. Actually, no, I totally believe. And then he started teaching me once a week for years. with his other friend that taught me one Tuesdays, the other Thursdays. And that's how I got all the information, actually, because of the voice in the radio show.
Oh, wow, a proper apprenticeship. And what fascinates me is how we're always connected to our life purpose from a very young age, like with you and your nanny. And then at some point we let it go, but it comes and finds us.
Yeah,
And I have
you
quite
cannot
of a
escape.
exactly, you cannot escape. And because I kind of resonate with your story a little bit, because growing up, now I'm Greek Cypriot, so I
Yeah.
grew up in Cyprus. I grew up in Cyprus, and growing up, I was always fascinated with like the ancient Greek gods. I didn't know why, but I was like, I love reading about the mythology. I love watching Xena the Warrior Princess on TV and Hercules and all that. And then right now, the year I left Hay House, that's when I went to Greece. I felt the call, I had the epiphany, and I went and started with a lineage of the ancient Greek pagans. So I became a priest to Greek paganism, to Hellenic polytheism. So now I'm transitioning more and more towards doing work with like the ancient Greek tradition. And now listening about your story, I can see how it's kind of similar in the sense that you started from like a young age, having all these influences, and then eventually the purpose comes and finds you, and you get the training you need, and you move forward, which is
Yeah,
fascinating when it comes to like finding and following our life purpose. Many people feel like, oh, I don't know what it is. What if I don't find it? Well, it finds you.
yeah, I know. And for example, in the first part of my first book, like many years ago, I told to Hugo, "Thank you, because you saw my destiny a lot before me
Yeah, yeah.
by hearing that radio show." So and I'm so thankful with life and to find also, like you say, your roots and such a rich tradition here in
Indeed.
Mexico that I never thought.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Toltecs and the Aztecs. Now, these terms are usually used interchangeably, but give us the difference between the two. Who are the Toltecs? Who are the
Okay,
Aztecs? Are they the same
there
thing?
are there are many different like versions. Okay, the official one that is also valid will tell you that the Toltecs is a culture that lived very close to Mexico City, that were considered really advanced and wise, uh, and that they lived between the 900 after Christ to decay was like in the 1200.
Mhm.
And the Aztecs is a group that started like in 1300 something, and that they were the ones that were here with the when the conquest happening, like ruling. They had like this amazing empire that took the Mayan land, and that's the official one that has part of the truth. But for example, Toltec is always like a very respected word because it means like the people that it is referring to a wise group of people
Hmm.
that almost no one knows that it's not about the culture that I have just spoken. They just took the name from there. That it was like a group of enlightened people that they are even mentioned in the Popol Vuh, the sacred Mayan book, that the Mayans were before the start at least, that taught everything to everyone. So from that group came the name of the Toltec culture and many of the knowledge that is in both the Toltec or the Nahuatl tradition and the Mayan, and all the knowledge of Mexico. At the end, the Aztecs said that they were descendants of the Toltecs.
Hmm.
So, and like you're Greek, I will give like an example. The Toltecs were seen like the Greek, the great development of the culture, and then the Aztecs became like the Romans. They adapted
Hmm.
completely the
Got
same
it.
system
Yeah.
with not so pure, but but actually I honor a lot the Aztecs because they all the energy, all the information that we have, they preserved it. If not, it would have been lost.
Hmm.
So the Toltecs were the really wise ones, and the Aztecs the ones that preserved at the end the knowledge. And actually, the knowledge is very long because it is based not even in the cultures. It's in a language that is named Nahuatl, that was spoken by the Teotihuacans and many, many groups,
Yeah.
including Toltecs and Aztecs. So it's a lineage of like 20 cultures
Yeah.
that spread it to.
And in your new book, The Real Toltec Prophecies, you're focusing on the significance of three important years specifically around the Aztec calendar. Now, what is the significance of the Aztec calendar and why is it important currently?
Okay. First of all, it's named Aztec calendar because there is a very famous sun calendar that was carved in the time of the Aztecs. But like I said, it's the inheritance of thousands years ago of many cultures. They just carved the stone, and why nowadays is known like
The
Aztec
Aztec.
calendar. But it's not real. It's not really Aztec. It's like I said, a long time before was designed. Then I actually the title is really challenging because they're real. How we dare or I dare to say real? Because what happened? Because I got information for Hugo in that class and in my classes about other counts. That was the count of Central Mexico. That wasn't like the one that everyone in the world was following about the Mayans. And he told me that the change was going to be in 2021, everything. And actually, I wrote a book with an Italian publisher, the first one. And all this information was done. I didn't know if it was going to happen and if the things were going to fit with my count or the other. Actually, I wrote it because I trusted a lot in Hugo, and I trusted a lot in the rest of the information that we were holding about the tradition and that. Then after I saw what happened in 2012, almost nothing. At the end, it's spectacular. So I thought that it could have been something like that. But when we were approaching, all the things that he taught me boom, began happening exactly when he said da, 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 da. And then is when I said he had the real count. And that's why we put the real, because it's happening.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's real.
Year by year. That's why I put real, not because I said, oh, I have the count. No, because he taught me these things 15 years ago, and everything had been exactly. So now I think it's real. It happened. The other one not.
Exactly. Okay, so the Aztec calendar, which is not Aztec as we've learned, is like it's an amalgamation and combination and accumulation of so many years of knowledge. But it's divided into suns, and each lasting specifically 6,625 years. And there is a shift from the fifth to the sixth sun, and which will complete May 2021. So let's take each of these 3 years specifically and analyze them. So what's the significance of 2012?
Okay, first let's say where does the count comes.
Okay.
There is like the outer ring of that calendar. It's like the long count. That is a cycle of 26,500 years. That is the same one that the Egyptians saw, of like precession of equinoxes, the same one of the eras of the Western astrology, but this is split into 12 eras. You get the same number. So it was seen by many, many cultures. So it's not only Mexicans. The Mexicans saw that they split it instead of the 12 astrological signs, like in the normal astrology, into the number 4, because it was said 4 moments of the day, 4 phases of the moon, 2 solstices, 2 equinoxes, and that gives you these periods of 6,625 years. So it's something that is shared everyone. So simply everyone understood it and split it, divided it different. The Mayans have the same one, but they split it in 5. I don't know why. I'm not saying anyone is correct. Some in 5, some in 12. The central count in 4. So, and Hugo told me, but that it wasn't so radical that 1 year finishing 31st of December and then you are in the next year. That the shift started in a full eclipse in 1991. 32 years ago, I think, or something like 31. And when he taught me this, that it was 2005, it has already started. And he said, first, what is going to change is going to be an external change of everything. And actually, if you saw what happened from like 25 past years, everything out of us changed. Technology, everything became so quick, but actually it was like these flashes of spirituality, inner change happening, but not really. Okay, it was starting. But what he said that the first 20 years were about an external change happen complete. In that time, I didn't make it so important because it was already happening. So I said, maybe it's just adapting what is happening. But then he told me that the last Mayan date, the one that was following everyone, was a date that didn't have adjustments. That the ancient Mexicans, they had meetings of all the cultures to adapt the calendar. But like that date was before, it didn't have like the last adjustments that the Aztecs got to the calendar, but that it was really important because it was like when the fifth and the sixth sun, the previous time and the one that is coming, were going to be like equally in influence. And then from there, the fifth sun was going to lose power until 2021, when the sixth sun was going to rule for 6,000 and something years. And that from 2012 to 2021, that actually is 2013, because it was the end of 2012. So it was going to start a period that was going to be really challenging, because we were going to cross like humankind for the underworlds, and that change. That the change will end in May 2021, but will keep on until 2026. That's what I wrote and everything. I didn't know. But when it started comparing, because he said the underworlds, that is where we are trapped, like humankind and personally, will develop like year by year. And actually the eighth underworld, should be this year, because 2020, it was the one of complete darkness. And he said it is going to be a lot of uncertainty. People want to know where to go. And the feminine forces that have been rejected are going to express first the earth with lack of abundance and with infections. So, but I wrote about this and I talk about that years and years. I didn't know if it was going to be, but I trusted my teacher. And actually, when I saw it, I began comparing everything that has happened, and it has developed exactly. We are in the eighth underworld, waiting to go to the ninth, in order to finish the challenge.
And what is the challenge? What's going to happen when we ascend to 2026, when we reach into the sixth sun? What's the significance of that?
Yeah, we have to see that the suns alternate. So, and in a very easy way, we can see it metaphorically. There are suns of light and suns of darkness, and not good and bad ones. No, it's just like day and night. Exactly. When we are awake or we are in daytime, normally we're looking outside. So in those suns, God is outside, medicine is outside, satisfaction is outside. Are very good for religions. You need doctors, plants, whatever to heal you. You need satisfaction in other people to conquer other ones. So they are very good for wars and all these things. And we are finishing all what we consider history is in the past, in the last period of the fifth sun. The Western history, not the other ones that have been ignored. And it's a sun of the day, seeing outside. And now the change starts, because we're going to a sun of the night. When we are awake, when we are sleeping, we are supposed to have our eyes closed, see to your inner self, your underworlds, of course. You must see your dreams, and it's a lot more feminine, because the night is feminine and the sun is masculine, and it's a complete shift. But what he told me, that then I got it finally, is he told me the change will be gradual. It's not from one day to other. And if you see what happened, really, after 2012, that was when the sixth sun is really expressing, people, almost everyone stopped looking out. Why? Cell phones. Now everyone is in the middle. Not looking inside. Many people is a lot more looking in the spirituality, but exactly like it was described. It stopped seeing outside. Now everyone is here, and eventually it's going to happen something that will make a complete shift with technology to the inner self.
Yes. So essentially, it's going to be a self-reflective period, a period where we're looking inside for answers and coming into our power and embracing feminine energy more than before. So and by underworlds, do you mean the shadow self, essentially, like looking within and allowing ourselves to like
Yeah,
heal?
underworlds is in the Orthodox story are the places that we go when we die.
Yes.
They are described. But if dreaming is so for this tradition so similar to dying, so is where we go every night. And so if dreams create our reality, it's things that we do here where we are trapped. That is repetitive destructive patterns, addiction to suffering, fear of change, laziness, lack of discipline, ancestral patterns, heavy emotions, the heavy use of the word and the thoughts, and finally, the complete darkness. So it's something that looks very far away, but we are frequent flyers because all of us go in our dreams and in our life. We have
Yeah.
destructive patterns. Humankind is addicted to suffering, to create problems and these kind of things. People don't like to change.
So
We repeat
dealing with our
it.
issues,
Yeah.
essentially. So
So,
what would you say as a practical process, or what are the steps that we need to take to prepare ourselves for this change? Of course, people can read the book and they can get, I guess, all the exercises, but I was wondering if you can give us like a teaser of what we can do right here, right now.
of course, first of all is to address it.
Mm.
Actually, I always took it serious, but I now, because it became real, I'm taking it a lot more serious.
Yeah.
That is happening. So, the shift, if we see it very basic, it's going for a masculine order that, if you see in the past years, there are like three main religions, totally patriarchals.
Mm.
uh, all this male dominance of the world that then came into also with minorities and other races. And that, but now the night, what I'm talking is the famous darkness of the Bible from which everything came. So we'll start ruling. The moon, because it's the night, the moon is the ruler of the dreams, of the illusion. And so feminine forces are coming back. The one that is not prepared will have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So first is seeing, not like a cliche that everyone is just reestablishing the relationship with the earth, because it's the one that gives health and it's the one that gives abundance. Everyone is always asks, oh, please God, give me money and something like that. I have never seen even a penny or clothes falling down like rain. uh, Everything comes from
The earth.
uh, the earth. That's the first step. But what does the earth gives you? The the result of how you dream and
Yes.
how is your unconscious. So you must deal with that, and then the night is the one that gives life and death to everything. So if you deal with the changes, not exactly to be the sacred feminine, and that will be to be the same disaster, but in feminine is to deal with your feminine part that is your inside, what is hidden, what represents with the night when you are uh, sleeping.
Yeah. So essentially, is again stopping from trying to find this balance and the feminine outside of ourselves and
Yeah.
or up in the god or goddess, and just looking where we are within us and in the earth, and doing this inward work here and now. And it's a very embodied way of doing that, essentially.
Yeah, and there are certain ways, for example, to create a personal relationship with the earth. And it's not only become and going with flowers and rituals now. For example, if any time that you pay whatever or you receive money, that is one of the things of the earth. You say in your mind, in your honor, Mother Earth, Gaia, Tonantzin, however, Pachamama,
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom. You will be recovering a relationship with the earth. She will open the umbilical cord that feeds you, that now is pointing the heavens, and that won't work anymore. Actually, while we're approaching, that is so easy to start.
Yes.
Then to begin seeing how is your unconsciousness. And it's just by following the underworlds, which repetitive patterns you have, in which areas of your life you are addicted to suffering. Some people is in health, in relationships, in finances, some in everything, and try to solve that. Solve your also your fear of change, because a lot of people now is fearful because the underworld is of uncertainty.
Yes.
But and then it makes you lazy, and so in the pandemic times only seeing Netflix or whatever, and not doing anything to adapt to a new order actually.
Yeah.
And then dealing with your emotions and all these things. Well, also, if you do a dreaming training, then you will be able, in the most feminine part of you, because it comes with the darkness and the moon, that is the unconscious mind, to begin programming what you would like to live. And then you will be perfect for the next years. According to Hugo, he said that after 2021, that the change kind of finishes to 2026, that is the other cycle of called new fire finishes. The people that don't adapt will have a lot of problems and will start dying. Not to create fear, is because they will be forced to come back in other lineages that adapted. So it will make the genetics.
Reprogramming, essentially.
Yeah, because if you, it's very different to be born in the most material parents
Yeah.
that you come back with a hippie power parents or something like that.
Yeah.
Not exactly,
Got it.
not a cliche, but that they have in the genetics the change, so that will force you to even to change.
So essentially, the best way to make use of our time, like to adjust to this change, is, well, of course, the rituals we do to honor Mother Earth are great, but really focusing on the everyday and trying to find our connection and heal our connection with the Earth and all our repeating patterns in the here and now. So essentially, being more conscious.
For example, there are certain things, and the immune system to be very, very updated.
Yes.
It's now only working with the masculine fire, for example, for the tradition, the one that fights, makes war and everything. But now it's not enough. If you have the feminine fire, that could be very, very easy, because you just can make an offering like good energy of your dreams, thoughts, feelings, and actions to the feminine fire, that in Nahuatl is named Shantiko, but you can call those only the feminine fire.
Yeah.
Come, mind before matter. It won't be the fire in your hand. And then when you feel a tingling or something, you just close it and you transfer to your thymus that rules the immune system. To also add the feminine fire. That is the fire that women got in their homes to cook with love, that makes home everything. So if you get
Yes.
that, the earth will become your home. And if everything is home, not viruses, not bacteria will attack you, because it's self-attacking. And you're just raising the vibration of your immune system. You and not denying the masculine part that needs to fight and defeat, just adding the other. And there are like those things that are quite simple, that change completely your
Wow.
destiny
Yeah.
and in the way that your body works, your thought and your life.
So everybody can get these spiritual technologies essentially from the Aztecs in Sergio's new book, The Real Toltec Prophecies. Sergio, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast and sharing these powerful tools and like knowledge with us. I'm so excited to like get started with attuning myself to this energy, and I'm so excited for everybody to do this as well. Where can people get in touch with you, and where can people get the book from?
The book, I think, are all the links, Amazon and everything.
Yes.
And with me in my website, sergiomagana.com, or in Sergio Magaña in Facebook, that I am there in English and Spanish.
Perfect, and of course, all the links, both English and Spanish, will be available in the show notes. Sergio, thank you so much.
Thank you, George. It was such a pleasure to see you, and a big hug to all your followers and everyone.